everyone, my name is Helen and I'm part of the Try team for Sainsbury's. And today I'm going to show you a vegetable burger. Now, I'm making this from broad beans and chickpeas, but I've started off with frying some onions in a frying pan, and I'm gently cooking those for about 2 minutes. And I'm going to add about 3 cloves of crushed garlic and also some spices. Now, when you're making vegetable burgers, you do find that sometimes they're quite bland and you do need to add quite a bit of spice. So I've got here in my bowl, I've also got some ground coriander, paprika, cumin seeds, chilli flakes, which give it that bit of a wham factor. And that's all going in to give it a buzz, to make it very, very spicy. Now, while I'm just cooking off the onions and garlic, I'm going to show you the basis of the actual vegetable burger. Now, for the recipe, I'm using some broad beans. Now, broad beans are in season at the moment, so you'll be able to buy them in the supermarket. If you do have trouble finding them, you can always use frozen or tinned broad beans, and they both work just as well. Now, what I've done with the broad beans, I've just cooked them in boiling salted water for about 2 minutes, and then I've taken off the skins, because the skins are quite tough on broad beans, but if you actually boil them, the skins will come off very, very easily. You need about 350 grams of broad beans, but when you've taken off the skins, it will go down to about just over half the amount. And I've also got a tin of chickpeas. I'm just going to add the spices to the onion and the garlic, and you'll be able to smell the cumin seeds, and they're bursting with flavour. Now, once the onions and the spices are lightly cooked, I'm just going to put them into the food processor. Also, to this mixture, I'm going to pour in the broad beans and the chickpeas. And then to that, I'm also going to add 3 tablespoons of flour, the egg white of a small egg, which you need to add to bind the actual vegetable burger together. Right, so place the top on the processor and just whiz for about 2 minutes. And that should be enough, and you should get a nice thick paste. Yes. Now I'm going to turn out the mixture onto a lightly floured board. So I just need a tiny bit of plain flour onto the board so it doesn't stick to the surface. And then I'm going to take out the mixture. So, go with a spatula. There we are. Now, if you find that it's a bit loose and you've got too much egg white in it, just add a tiny bit of breadcrumbs just to kind of make the mixture a bit stiffer before you actually roll it into the burgers. And just putting a bit of flour onto your hands, I'm just going to mould it into one big piece, and I'm going to cut it into 4 to make 4 vegetable burgers. So I'm just taking those in apart. Now, you need plenty of flour because they are quite moist, and I'm just going to pat them into a slightly oblong shape as such. Now, you can either cook these on a griddle, but I prefer to use a frying pan because sometimes they do break up slightly, so it's better if it's on a flat surface. And I'm going to add a tiny bit of olive oil. That's all you need, only a tiny bit. Then just pop the burgers into the oil. So. And it makes 4 large ones or 8 smaller ones, depending on how many people you want to feed or if you're giving them to children or adults. So 2 or 3 minutes on either side is ample. Now, the vegetable burgers are nicely cooked, so I'm going to serve them in something a bit more unusual than an usual bun. I'm going to put them into a wrap. They look gorgeous. And then I'm going to decorate it with quite a thick slice of tomato, and then a little bit of fresh watercress, and then just curl it round like a pocket. And that looks absolutely gorgeous. And a lovely idea because the children then can just hold it like that and eat it. I'm going to serve it on my plate, but if you wanted to serve it with another accompaniment, you could actually put some yoghurt dip with it, or you could serve it with some spicy potato wedges. Oh, I can just eat that myself now.